Hey guys, Wendell Kimbrough, wendellk.com. I'm here with a song today called Who is Like the Lord Our God. This is a hymn that I wrote several years ago, 2013. It's based on Psalm 113 and Philippians 2 and 3. And I'm going to sing it for you, and then I will share at the end a tutorial on how I play it and how I think about the song. So hope you enjoy. Our Father, He lifts from the ashes. He raises the poor and the lost. He seats them to dine at His table, to feast without money or cost. The lonely He settles in families, the barren a mother He makes. Oh, happy the heart of the stranger who's welcomed by this King of grace. Who is like the Lord our God, who with glory fills the sky, but humbles Himself with the broken to dwell? Who is like our God? Though equal to God in His glory, Christ Jesus became like a slave. He humbled Himself in obedience to death and the cross and the grave. Victorious He rose to the highest. In glory the Savior was raised. His name above all names exalted. The heavens and earth sing His praise. Himself with the broken to dwell. Who is like our God? Oh, saints, fix your eyes on the Savior and count all your righteousness lost. Be found in His love and His favor, share in His death on the cross, that all of His power and victory imparted to you may abound, and sharing the sufferings of Jesus, you share in His glory and crown. Himself with the broken to dwell. Who is like our God? Who is like the Lord our God, who with glory fills the sky, but humbles Himself with the broken to dwell? Like our God. Okay, there you go. Who is like the Lord our God? Psalm 113, Philippians 2 and 3. If you're just here to listen, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe if you like the song and you want to stay in touch. And if you're a guitar player or worship leader, let me walk you through how I play this song and give you some tips on how to do it in your congregation. So let me just run through the chords. There's a chord chart below. If you click, there should be a link down there to give you access to these chords. But I'm playing capo 2. I like C major chord forms. They allow me to do a lot of things sonically, and so I tend to capo and play in C when I can. Let's see, this is, so the song's actually in D, but I'm playing capo 2 in C, which gives me D major with C chord forms. And let me just run through the song, the chords first, and then we'll talk a little bit about the right hand. So, our Father, it's an A minor, He lifts from the ashes, C, E, F, and I'm actually pretty much throughout the song, I'm actually playing an F major 7. This is the way I play that chord. I thumb over, and then down here is important, let this E string ring out. That's what makes it a major 7, right? So F major 7, poor and the A minor G. He seats them, F again, to dine at his table, C again, F, without money or car, A minor, G. The lonely, all right, so A minor again, and then we're gonna go to an E minor. He settles in families. The barren, there's an F, mother he makes. All right, so right there, what I'm really doing, it's a C over G. I think the chart might actually say G suspended, which is slightly different, but so slight that it doesn't matter that much. Barren, so F, mother he makes, C over G. So it's kind of like a C chord, but I've got this finger up here to put a G in the base of that chord. And I don't know, I just like that inversion, like the way it sounds. Do the same thing on the next line. Oh, happy the heart, back to F, of the stranger, C over G, who's welcomed, F, by this G, King of grace, C. All right, so that gets you through the verses. One little note, a couple times on the last line, I actually invert those chords. So instead of an F, I do an F over A, who's welcomed, which just means that instead of thumbing over and getting an F in the bottom of my chord, I'm not playing the top string, and I'm just playing the second string, which is an open A, as the root of my chord, okay? So it sounds like that. And then when I do that, I'm going to use a G over B for the next chord because it's going to walk up to this C. So, who's welcomed, F, by this King of grace, right? Does that make sense? It kind of just gives a little lift, you know, coming into the chorus. Gives it a little pickup in energy. So there's your verse, and the chorus, let me walk through the chords on that. We're hanging out on this F chord a lot. I don't know if you've noticed. Who is like the Lord, G, our God, C. Who, same thing with glory, G, C. But humbles himself, F, G. And then here we go to an E over G sharp. With the broken to dwell, back to an A minor. Let me show you that E over G sharp again. So you can just play an E here, but humbles himself with the broken to dwell, right? And if you got a bass player in your band, you can let them worry about playing that G sharp. You can, I like to put the G sharp in there, so here's how that looks. It's like I'm taking an E major chord here, and I'm just, instead of I'm switching out the fingering here, so I'm using my first two fingers to make the bottom of the chord, and then I'm reaching up here with my pinky to the 4th fret relative to my capo to give the G sharp. So, the broken to dwell, and then I'm actually, with my pinky, I'm also actually muting the 2nd string because I don't want, right? You don't want that string ringing out. So I'm fretting on the top, I'm muting this one, and then I'm strumming the whole chord through. So there's your E over G sharp. With the broken to dwell, A minor, and then A minor over G. I actually cheat, and I think I play that like a C over G, just the same as that earlier chord in the verses, and then back to F. Who is like our God? F, G, C. So let me walk through the second half of the chorus again, and then I'll give you a couple more notes. But humbles himself with the broken to dwell, A minor. Who, F, is like our God. All right, so there's all your chords. Next, let me talk a little bit about the right hand. I do it a little different probably every time I play it, but this time, let's see, what did I do? On the first verse, I'm just kind of strumming out the chords and letting them kind of ring out. Our Father, He lifts from the ashes. That's just to give the song somewhere to go. You know, I don't want to just crank it up right from the get-go. But by the time I got to the chorus, I'm kind of doing this, it's almost like a bluegrassy kind of strum. So, it's like the Lord our God. Let me break that down a little bit and try to do it slowly. So I'm just plucking this top string. Speed it up a little bit. It's like the Lord our God, who with glory fills. All right, so that's kind of the strum pattern for the chorus, and you can keep that pattern throughout the song if you want to. But what I like to do on the verses is kind of like a flat pick version of finger picking. So let me go to verse 2 and I'll show you what I mean. So if I was finger picking it, I would be though equal to God in His glory. Right, I'd be doing something like that. I'm going to kind of simulate that with my right hand with the pick, and I'm doing that like this. See what I mean? It's kind of like a finger pick pattern. I'm not banging on it. I'm picking one string at a time. And let me slow that down just so you can kind of follow the pattern. So, though equal. Does that make sense? You can leave a comment if it doesn't. So that's more or less what I'm doing throughout on the verses. But on the last verse, I changed the chordings ever so slightly, and I strum a little differently. And let me show you what I'm doing on the last verse. This is one of the reasons I like playing in C, is I can put my pinky down here, and I can totally change the shape, just the feel of these chords by putting this 5 on the top of everything. Think of it almost like, if you're a piano player, it's almost like you're using the sustain pedal, you know, to kind of this note is going to kind of ring out, and I'm changing, instead of going for this big fat F down here, right in the major 7, I'm using this as the root of my chord, this lower F right here on the D string, and I'm changing my strumming. I'm just kind of jangling on the bottom strings, right? Oh, saints, fix your eyes on the Savior and count all your righteousness lost. Be found in His love. It's similar strum pattern to what I did on the choruses, but what changes it is keeping this finger rooted down here, really through all the chords. Just changes the feel. To me, that third verse, I'm like, when I sing that to a congregation, I'm inviting them to see the suffering in their lives as a co-suffering with Jesus. Right? I mean, that's what Paul says in Philippians 3, basically. Fix your eyes on Jesus and recognize that He suffered, and you, if you want to follow Him, you're going to share that with Him. You're going to share in His sufferings, and that's where His power comes to life in you. So I'm charging people with something kind of heavy when I get to that verse, and so I actually like to I want that verse to feel gentle, because it is I don't know, it's a delicate thing to invite a congregation to suffer, We spend a lot of our time trying to avoid suffering, and I'm calling people to do something radically different, to follow Jesus. So, I don't know, in my head that makes sense. I want that verse to feel tender when I'm singing that verse. So that's why I kind of change up the way it feels, and I go to this different kind of feel for that last verse. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you've gotten something out of this today. If you have, please subscribe, stay in touch. You'll probably like some of my other videos as well if you like this one. I'm a hymn writer, and I do a lot of work in the Psalms, and you'll see more videos of Psalms and hymns on this channel coming out this year. And I would love to keep in touch. And if there's a song you want to hear, an old hymn particularly, that you'd like to see me do on the guitar, leave a comment in the comment section below here and request that song, and I'll do my best to put something together for you. Again, Wendell Kimbrough, wendellk.com. Thanks for tuning in. Great to be with you today. Good to see you. Have a great day.
Who is like the Lord our God, who with glory fills the sky?